thank you for the organizers and for the Center of Research to help and financed all this effort, amazing effort, and to talk about this great subject, which is landscape. Hope everyone is enjoying the time as much as me. For this plenary presentation, I'll be sharing the role of session moderation with my colleague, Cidália Silvia, which is there. She's trying to hide, but we see her. But please allow me the pleasure of presenting our keynote speaker, which I've been waiting to meet in person for a while. Francesco Careri is Associate Professor at the Department of Architecture of Roma Tre University, where he's Director of the Master Environmental Humanities and the Master Performing Arts and Community Spaces. In 1995, he co-founded the Urban Art Laboratory Stoker, which was one of our inspirations here at school, which consists of architects, artists, activists, and researchers working experimentally and engaging in actions to create self-organized space and new situations. With Stoker, he also developed a method of collective walking in actual territories, the unspecified or void spaces of the city, which have long been disregarded or considered a problem in traditional architectural practice. He's also the director of LAC, Laboratory of Civic Arts, at also University Roma Tre, and since 2017 is scientific responsible with Professor Fabrizio Finucci for the research group Laboratory Circo, and with Professor Giovanni Caudo, Laboratorio di Città Corviale. Hope you understand my, okay, thank you. He's also a member of the board of PhD in landscapes of the contemporary city, policies, techniques, and visual studies. He has participated in numerous national research projects. He's a member of international research groups. He has contacts in foreign universities, yes, where he generously holds seminars, talks, and workshops. He is also well known for his published work, which we can refer Walking as an Aesthetic Practice, or Passear e Detenerse, both translated in Portuguese, which is a good opportunity for us to read, from Gustavo Gili, and more recently, Nomadismo, Arquitetura, Hospitalidade, Experienze, well, I'll let him do the proper name, recently published in 2020. So Francesco Careri, thank you for traveling and for being here, and hope you enjoy the afternoon as much as us.
Grazie. Grazie mille. Well, I apologize for my English that is really, really poor, but it's a Mediterranean English. I hope we will understand each other. Okay. Now, what you're looking is a video of Stalker. The name is, it is in French, Franchismo. In italiano è Scavalchi, in portoghese non lo so. Transpassar, sì? Saltar muros, non so, no? Che è un po', sorry. This is more or less what I would like to do with you tomorrow morning. In the walk we will do in Guimarães. So the appointment, it is at 10 in a fountain. Toral. In the fountain in Toral at 10. If you want to go to the gate, to the prison with me, this could be. Okay, so I stop. Sorry. Okay, I have to put that in that screen. Ah, no, okay, you see. Perfect. Va bene. And okay, of course, I thank to the organizers to be here, and also for the keynote speaker of this morning, that I think that there are a lot of things in common with what I'm going to say. Okay, as it was said, there are two books that are translated in Portuguese. This is not yet translated. It is in Spanish. And I'm looking for an editor in Portuguese if there is somebody. And I will talk more about about the hospitality, starting from this bibliography that start with Émile Benveniste, the vocabulary of Indo-European institution, where this quote has been taken. The word, the host, comes from the Latin hostis, so stranger, enemy, and hostile. I don't know, it is in English. And from the action of the hostipotis, that is a word composed by hostis, stranger, and potis, power, the master, let's say, the lord, or the lord of the guest, in a way. Sì, o señor do estranjero. And from this word come hospes, hospite. In Italian, we have just one word. We have not the guest and the host. We have just the hospite. Like in French, there is the hôte. You have still convidado, or in Spanish, there is the, come si dice? No, bueno, no importa. El anfitrión, anfitrión, huésped y anfitrión, son dos personas. Sorry, there are two people. But I think that this fact, to have one word for both, is really important to understand the reciprocity of hospitality. It is like if we say we are friends. It's not I'm friend of you and you are not friend. We are friends and we are host. And so, or and this is to explain why I'm saying that. I think that today it is important to talk about that. Well, you know, and also one of the items of today was walking and migrants. And so it is, Jacques Derrida said that the true hospitality has to be unconditioned, so without conditions. So you have to open the door to everybody who knock at your door, because if you don't open the door, there is Zeus Hospitalier, that was a god, probably for that reason, that will send you a light, okay, un fulminant. So it's not a choice to the hospitality. In the archaic world, hospitality is a duty. You have to open this door. And this is also in the Bible and in the Odyssey. There is in Philoxenos, she counted 28 different declinations of hospitality with God, godness, young people, boy, or there are all the possibilities of hospitality. So you can read the Odyssey like trattato, I don't know how to say, as a book just on hospitality. Traité en français, je sais pas. Okay. And then Michel Anger, he talked about, he said that it's not so easy because hospitality today is always conditioned. So it's not true what really Derrida says. Derrida says also that hospitality has to be in silence, in the sense that it is without recognition. I don't know. You don't ask the name of the stranger. You just like Ulisse in the when he arrived to Nausicaa and to the people of Teaci, the Alcino he host him. He show where he can have a bath, where he can and he give new clothes, and then he say you can relax, and after we will do a big dinner, il banchetto, and so Alcino start talking, and Ulisse, since that moment, he is silent. He don't speak because you have not to recognize if he is Greek or not. Hospitality, you have to open to everybody, not. And then Alcino ask to Ulisse if he want to say something, and this is the moment when Odyssea starts. And then he talk about Troia, the horse, and etc. So what I want to say to you today now is let's say some example of I said epiphanie. I don't know in English the word, but something that arrived to me where I have understood some concepts that are in this line of what I'm going to say. And then how I'm trying to do in Rome some project about hospitality. So to bring this the domestic hospitality to another system that is alternative to welcoming. Welcoming is not hospitality. Institutional welcoming is conditioned. You ask the fingerprints. You see if the people who are knocking at your door, they have the paper, or which kind of paper. And it is like welcoming in Italian accoglienza, acogida, non so, I don't know in Portuguese, acoger? Acolhimento. And this word comes from agricultural space, in the sense raccogliere the fruits, no? The apples, and so I choose. I don't take all the apple. I just take some apple. I put the red, the green in different box, and this is as we do with institutional welcoming. So I don't receive everybody. And once I have opened the door, I put them in different boxes. I spatialize, just we say, in the boxes of the institutional welcoming that are not at all hospitality, as you know. So I'm just trying to resume the sense. So why don't you try to restart from hospitality, the true, the archaic hospitality, to refound our city? This is more or less what I want to say. Okay, this is also, I have put what in Greek are the xenia dora, and in Latin are the tessere hospitalis, that are the some double small sculpture, small object that the host give to the guest once he leave, so after the hospitality. And so it is supposed to be that the host arriving, no, the guest, sorry, arriving is giving a gift to the host. And the gift, it is the knowledge of the world. And in the archaic world, without internet, without newspapers, the only way to know what was going around the world was to host somebody and to organize the big lunch and start the narration of what was going in the world. So this is also something that we have completely forgot, that hospitality is a gift. So to open the door is not something that you go to do in univoc, I don't know, unilateral way. I give you food, I give you a roof, I save your life in a way, but I don't expect that you give something to me. But hospitality has this reciprocity that your presence is a gift to me, so I have to give a present to you when you go away. And okay, no, this is also, this is the Bible, when Abraham host 3 homeless in the desert, vagabondi, I don't know what to say, and at the end he discovered that then they are 3 angels. So under the mask of who is knocking at your door, there is always Athena or Mercurio or God itself. So this is, in all their culture, there is this possibility of God is knocking at your door. Okay, I just tell you the first 2 stories that arrived to me before writing Worldscapes, that maybe you know. The first is the Stalker tour of Rome. Stalker is a group, collective, that it is still existing, also if it is a bit split after 30 years. And this has been our first action. We took the name Stalker from the Tarkovsky movie, and was a 5-day walking to, I don't know if Felipe is in the, yeah, to take the city, prendere la città di sorpresa. I don't know how to say, it's not to do a surprise to the city, but also to be surprised by the city when you, so to go in the back of the city, to don't stay in the island. The island are the place where the everyday life goes on, so where we live. And the oceans, the seas of the archipelago are the neglected areas where we don't know normally. In this case, there are a lot of archaeological places in Rome that are completely closed and you can't enter, and so Selvatic and wilderness nature is growing, and without, it's like it is really a wild part of the city, or there are abandoned building, industrial areas, a cemetery, railways. If you put all together this kind of place that we called at the time territori attuali, the actual territories, you have this image, and that is completely different from what our teacher at that time they were trying teaching to us, that the map of Rome was certain, and we say no, it is uncertain. Like you say, there is a lot to explore, there is a lot to know and to discover. So the image is like the trip of Magellano, of Cristoforo Colombo, okay, without the colonization attitude, colonizing attitude, but it is really, we just want to say there is something to explore. Also, if we are in Rome, it's not true that everything has been written and we have just to study, because there is nothing to learn going strolling. So yeah, we took it's in Italian. I don't know if you probably see the movie Stalker. And Stalker of Tarkovsky, it is in the zone. The zone, it is an uncertain landscape, of course, where probably the extraterrestrial arrive, so the nature start to move in a completely different way. It's a mutant nature, we say. And so you must invent, in a way, your strategy to walk inside the zone. And he goes with a poet and a physician, so the two forms of knowledge, art and science, to study the territory. And the stalker is like the faith, but the faith not in God, but in the mystery, that there is a mystery hidden in this place that you have to move inside this place, and you have to walk and you have to explore in another way. Yeah, this is also has to be, this is the Michel Foucault. The actual is not what we are, but more what we are becoming. What we become. So the other, our becoming other. This is also what Felipe was saying this morning, I think, something that is the 2 seconds after the perception. So that you have, we are always in a sort of apprehension of the space, and the knowledge is there. And you have this Pasolinian picture of Rome, and we are all the stalker. As I was showing, to know what is hidden behind the gate, you have to do some, you have to follow some rule. One of the rule I prefer is that the private property is not unsurmountable taboo. Not a taboo. Come si dice? Non untrespassing taboo. Like. So, because if you just accept that what you have to know, it is what the city show, you really lost a big part of what the city is. So, and the other sentence I always say, but tomorrow I will repeat for the ones who will come. It is that who lost time against space, win space. So, for example, for tomorrow we will not have an ending time. We know that we start at 10, but then we don't know if we go back to sleep in the night. We start and then you are free. We have all the time at disposition to get lost and to do all the also to go everywhere. I really don't know where we go. So okay, there are other rules, but I will say tomorrow morning maybe. But this is what we learn, that once you are in the other side of the city, it starts a sort of micro-infrastructuration of the city. It's full of trilla, paths, walks, and you can go everywhere. And if they are there, it is because somebody used it. So there are a lot of people hidden in this place, and they lived there. They do the infrastructures. If there is a river, they have put a table to pass the river. If there is a wall, maybe there are some stones. So there is also, once you are in the other side, in the seas, let's say in the water of the archipelago, you can start walking without being in the city, or else being in the city, but and and what is important also is to sleep out, and to don't when you do this kind of walk in the cities for more than one day, to don't get home. and to, because after 4 or 5 days that you are homeless and you don't have a shower and you have, your perception completely change. Your mental map open, it's completely unfold, and all the space that before doesn't exist start to exist, and the city is complete. Also, it is, if it is your own city, everything change. And now I go to the megalithic. I know we are in a megalithic landscape. And so this is Sardinia. This is another epiphany. This was in 96. And it is in the center of Sardinia, in Laconi, the place. In those years, I was trying to study, not to study, but really to experience the megalithic place, to understand what was the first architecture and how architecture birth, what was the grado zero, the 0 degree of architecture. And for me, architecture at that time was this movement of a stone, okay, that is like that, and you put in vertical. So this has also a lot to do what we were saying this morning about the Neolithic moment of the vertical. But so imagine we are in a valley, there was a river, and there is a line, and when you follow the direction of the line, you arrive to a hill, to a passage, I used to say un valico, el paso, I don't know what to say. And there were other 2 menhirs as a door. You arrive in the top, there is a small menhir, and then other 2 menhirs in the other side of the mountain. So I was doing this drawing to understand the system, because the archaeologists always explain the megalithic object like just object, not in the relationship with the territory, with the landscape. And if you walk in Sardinia, you understand that the megalithic sites are completely linked one to the other. And, and once I was doing this drawing, I see a shepherd with his animals passing through the menhir. And I say, oh, what the fuck, no? Cazzo, in Italian, I said. How many thousands of years this happen every day, no? Because, and so this is the moment when I understand that architecture is nomadism, that the architecture, the first architecture that is the menhir, we say that is the menhir, now it's not so, okay, as not made by the people of the agricultural fields and the sedentarian and the villages and etc. But this action arrived in the landscape and it was made by the hunters and shepherds. So it is a nomadic invention. And this was, to me, this is the reason why I start to write worldscapes, to try to explain that architecture is born nomadic. Yeah. Okay, this is another important moment. The footprints of Australopithecus, or we don't know the gender, if it is a woman or a man, with a child. They are, you have to imagine a volcano that explodes, so there is mud in the ground, they escape, and then this become a fossil. So, and this is the first trace of something that is not really human, but is between an animal and a human. And there are a lot of research nowadays about these footprints. Who studied these footprints say that you have the human, the lethally, and the chimpanzee. So this animal is able to walk in a vertical position. So, but it is also able to bring to live in the trees, let's say, to bring a branch, come si chiama, un albero, un ramo. So it is really the moment when we go down from the trees and we start walking. Yes, this is also another fantastic collection of footprints in Namibia. They discovered that this is an article of 2003 of September, and I think they are really wonderful. Oh, sorry. Nobody knows why, who did this gravure drawing, I don't know. And also it is interesting that there are also the footprints of the humans inside the other animals. And also in Namibia, there is also this drawing that for me is the first line of a path. So there is somebody who is living a path, and there is somebody who understands that he can draw a line with that. And also, if it seems that they don't they don't perceive the fact that an animal passed, they explain. And this is another drawing in the north of Italy, where the system of the path is like a village. It is really a map where you have the animals on the top of the left, and the agricultural field, and these spaghetti like that are the paths. They are probably not road, maybe they are not also physical, maybe they just are relationship between the places. And this is the cover of Wallscape, of course. So, this is, the Australopithecus was 3,600,000, etc. This, you know. And we say that 10 years ago there has been the Neolithic revolution, so the hunters became shepherds, and the raccoglitori, became agriculture. And also, we always say that this is the birth of architecture, because architecture, it is an object somewhere. So, if I put, I do a performance too. If we put 4 millions in this line of the screen, so we have 2 million here, 1,500,000 here, 200,000. Okay, so we can say that architecture is born 4 millimeters ago. To me, this is problematic. I mean, it is more interesting to try to think that probably architecture was something else, or there was something that, or maybe that we have to change our conception of architecture, our definition of architecture. Maybe architecture was not simply to build an object, but to build the meaning of the territory. So this is what it is. This is the question under the book. I will not go inside the book that talk about yes, the object and the absence of the object, and how architecture is the walkabout of the the Australian Aborigines, and many other things. I want to talk about this. I tell you a story that you maybe know, Caino e Abele. I tell this story because here you have the nomadism and the hospitality, and you have these two concepts at page 4 of the Bible. I mean, after the separation of the genders, simplified in Adamo and Eva, a man and a woman, the Bible want to clarify that there are two ways of live in this planet, the nomadic and the settled. So you have Cain, that is an agriculture, and Abel is a shepherd. And Bruce Chetwin, in the song lines, he explains in a territorial way this story. So he say, I can imagine that once Abel was going back from the transhumance, and he found that Cain has invented something new, and this something new was the private property to defend the agricultural field from the ships of Abel. And so he say, hey, what are you doing? This is something that was not at all in our mind before. And so he passed the limit, as Romolo and Remo history. And there are a lot of twins or brothers in all the culture where there is this first homicide. This is the first homicide of the story, of our story. And it is an agriculture that killed a shepherd. But what is interesting also is what happened after. Because God say, okay, I've seen you, now I have to punish you, and you will be nomad like your brother was. And so you will go wandering in the desert of Abel. And Cain say, oh no, my God, if I wander in the desert, somebody will kill me. And God say, no, don't worry, I will give you a sign that, and this sign will be the sign that nobody will kill you. No, else so this is important. Probably there are other people. There are not only this family of Adam, Eva, Cain, Abel, but there are others. Abel probably he knew how to meet the others, and the first sign of the history in general, it is something that gives you the permission to enter in the territory of somebody else. So to knock at the door, let's say. So I think this is also linked to the hospitality, what I was saying before. And I think that the Ka, that is the symbol of the eternal wandering, that is to walk with raising your arms and with the open hands, it is the sign of Cain. It is something that you do while you are entering in the territory of somebody else to show that you are without weapon and you just want to pass. And so don't kill me or give me water or food, or asking hospitality in a way, asking the permission to to cross the limit, and this was the problem why Cain killed Abel. So it's like if God is worried, if you have to learn how to relate with the other in a way. No, if you continue like that, killing always the other, the world is not going on at all. So, and this is a Paleolithic sign, and I'm also interested by if it is a sign that is, I was saying this morning when you do with the egg, okay, I don't remember, but I think it is important what you said this morning to understand how when you were doing the node of the tip, I think this is a natural sign that you do and it is, I think, this first sign of Cain, but this is my opinion. Okay, I go in another territory. This is Rome. This is Rome, and this is the map of the squatting place of Rome. You know, in Rome there are a lot of migrants coming, I don't know, probably also here, and there are no social housing at all, and so what is arriving in the last 20 years, it is that the movement of the right to the house, they start occupying abandoned building. And today there are more than 150 abandoned buildings that are occupied by 10,000 people coming from everywhere. And we started studying this phenomena in 2010, and we are always inside. This is the map of Metropolis that is, was a farm where was produced mortadella and jamon, etc. And where many people coming from the Latin America, the Maghreb, and the East Europe are organizing a new intercultural condominium, let's say, that is really interesting and really new. And they just dismount the fabric, and with the money they build houses inside the fabric. So they are transforming this fabric in a city. And today this place is the MAM, Museo dell'Altro e dell'Altrove di Metropolis, so an inhabited, a living museum, because the works of art are inside the houses of the people. And there is a movie we did that is Space Metropolis. You can find it in internet if you want. That is, to me, it's interesting because Fabrizio and Giorgio are two anthropologues, and they decide not to do a documentary, a normal documentary, asking to the people where do they come from or what they want to do, the problem, etc., but to imagine the moon. And if I ask to you to imagine the moon, you know the same of the Roma people, children, and the migrants, and we are all together in the same level, because nobody went to the moon, nobody has the experience of the moon. And so this was to open the imaginary to how to transform metropolis and how do really which is the society where you want to live. And so it starts surreal utopia, and it is, if you see the movie, it's really nice. And that year, I didn't say that the Arti Civiche course that I do since 2006. It is a peripatetic course in the sense that me and my student, we do every year 100 kilometers, more or less, and I never stay in the classroom. I always stay around, walking. By every week we do more or less 10 kilometers, and we restart from where we stopped, so there are a lot of line in Rome. My course is measured in kilometers, not in hours. And we stroll, and this was the year when the course was from midnight to 8 in the morning. So we walked only the night, in the Friday night, to see what was going in the night in Rome. And we arrived to, we always have the instruments. Oops. And so we arrived with the student to Metropolis, and and we started to transform Metropolis in exit strategy, and we built this rocket to go to the moon also. Okay, this was one story where we learn a lot about a non-institutional welcoming system, let's say. So, and then we restarted from this point to understand, okay, but how many are the contemporary ruins in Rome? So we started going around next time with Stalker, and we did a walk through the contemporary ruins. We started from the Colosseo, and then we get out, and we arrive to this monument that is Calatrava, you know. It is an important engineer, not architect, yeah. It is the most famous builder of ruins in the world, very expensive ruins, because to do that without finishing, it cost 400 millions of euro. And now they want to spend other 400 millions of euro to finish it. And this is a swimming pool. Okay, to do a swimming pool, you just cut the ground, you put the water. It's really crazy, no? That you can, and these are public money. Okay, I don't want to go there, but you understand. So this is let's say the monument of the contemporary ruins in Rome. But and then we put together the ruins, the concept of the ruins, and the migrants, with the history of Enea. You know Virgilio, no? The poet, and the Aeneid. So we restarted from there to tell another story about Enea. It's not the story that Mussolini wrote in the marble of the UR in the fascist quarter of Rome, like the identity of the Romans and our blood become from Enea through Romolo and Remo, Giulio Cesare, Augusto, and etc. But no, in the reality, Enea is a migrant escaping from the war of Troia. He crossed the Mediterranean Sea, and many of his companions they died during the trip, and he arrived in the beach of Rome, and also here you have another moment of xenia, of hospitality, because he got to the Palatino in Rome, where there are ruins before the foundation of Rome, and in the ruins he met Evandro, that is a Greek shepherd, so they are enemy, because one Trojans and one Greek. But they recognize themselves with the xenia, with hospitality, that because some grandfather of them, they give themselves hospitality. They were hospitality together, and so they decide to don't fight between them and to fight with other, and they found Rome in that way. So Rome has been founded in the ruins by migrants. That is what we try to say today, that we have to refound in the contemporary ruin with all the people that are coming. And this is the meaning of the project we are doing, that is Circo, that it is an acronym of Casa, Irrinunciabile, house, irrenunciable, I don't know what to say, not renunciable, I don't know. A house for recreation, so civic recreation and hospitality. About the O of hospitality, I've just talked a lot. And what we say, what we did has been to try to understand how the welcoming system was going, where are the prisons and the migrant center in Rome, and how do they work? How do they work the system of the religious association like Caritas, Sant'Egidio, and etc. And we didn't found hospitality also in those places. This is what the state, the Italian state, does that is really without word. Then there are the Cara, this big place. I don't know if in Portugal how you are organized, but maybe it's not the same violence, but okay. And then there are the people who try to host the clandestines, the sans-papiers, the people that just to be there, they are criminals. And for us, nobody is illegal just to live in this world. So, but hospitality is illegal today. They are cacciati via. The police arrive every day and they keep them out. So we did this map to show how many abandoned buildings are in Rome. There are more than 2,000 buildings, like 60 cinema closed, and hospitals, and religious center, fabrics, and so what I'm doing now is a lot different project with the students to reuse those places as circo, as circles. What is circo? It is try to not to do ghetto with the migrants, but to put together the students, the migrants, the elders. There are a lot of categories that if you put always in separate place, you don't have a solution of the problem. The idea is to put together the problem and try to cook them in the same place and to reorganize. Yes, when we asked to the students to imagine who need a place, who need a circo. And I think it would be interesting also for a tourist not to go to B&B or an hotel, but to wake up in the morning and have a breakfast with a student or with migrants, and to have this telling story of Homero and Odyssey that I was saying at the beginning, that it is maybe yeah, this is the economic. So if you put the tourists with the migrants, they can balance the economy of the place. Just to resume, in a way. And we imagine different path for the different categories. And now we are doing this project that is a squatted building, and we are doing with the, you see the logo, the anarchist, the municipality, the three ministers, and 3 universities. So we arrived to convince to the squatters and the institution to do a project, to do a house in this place for the people who are now occupying. This place, it is in the center of Rome, close to Pyramide, close to the Roman wall. So we are doing the first social housing project inside the center in Rome. So it is an anti-gentrification project that keep the problem in the center and don't move the problem to the periphery. And this is a monument for the squatting movement, of course. And so what we are doing is really important because can be a model for the other building, for the other communities. And we started in more than 10 years ago doing workshop with the UCL of London, and a lot of, and we opened the door. This was the first moment when the neighbor came inside. And we transformed the inside courtyard in public space with flying boat, in a surreal, come si chiama? Barcolumpio, I don't know. This is the entrance, so when you enter, you understand that you are not entering in a single building, but in a system of building, of the squatting building. So here, the Italian constitution doesn't work. The rules are made by the assembly of the squatters. So there are the rules. If you are a fascist, you can't get in. There are 2 or 3 rules important. And in the other side, there is the map of the world where the people who live inside, they put the place where they come from. Yeah. This is the beginning of the Odyssey in all the language of the people that live there, so Arab, Spanish, Italian. And this is the project. We have now 13 million euro to transform this space, and they are starting to do the work now. There are 2 floors of houses, and the ground floor is made by different social, cultural, I don't know. Ok, non lo so, non va avanti. Okay, no, I don't know. Maybe I did something. Però non va né avanti né indietro. I was saying, okay, that the social and socio-cultural activities, they will stay there, and we are studying. I don't know. It is blocked. Okay, grazie. And this was the sense of the families coming from, I was saying, and we just redesigned the space as it was before, in the sense this is we have to move the people inside. This was in the program. Now they are late, so they will move all the people out, and I'm really afraid about that, because our idea was that the people were inside turning in the space. Okay, I think, and this is just to show that the house, they are beautiful inside, and we learn a lot of how to inhabit this space. So we try to be the more close to what they did, but it's stupid, but we have to destroy everything, and because they are not at norm, not legal in a way, and so this is what we are doing today. Okay, I can show you the architecture. I think it is finished. Basta.
So, And what we have seen since this conference started is that this incredible mixture of human beings gathering here in this particular point. Of course, we are a privileged class being here. We are not the same people in this very vulnerable position that we see in this last project. And my first question, well, I can say and repeat publicly that we really admire your work. We have been working with walking in this school for many years. It has helped us in several fields, because this is a school of architecture, art, and design. And I can speak from the side of architecture that what helped us in the area of so-called urbanism, in commas, is that traditionally it was always a bird view. Planning is always a bird view, as if nothing would exist. And by the practice of walking and making field work through that practice of walking and really being there, we totally discover another way and different cartographies as well. And this practice of encounter, what we are not expecting, being a snake or being someone, the risk, to put ourselves at risk, I think it's a very, it's something that really totally changes our perspective and the way we inhabit and change the space. So my first question is, I will start from here, just because you are now in this process of implementing it, this project. And my first question is, how did you, it's pretty much from the practice, how did you dealt with this tension between the forbidden, the police that come and takes everyone out of there, and occupying this space in the starting, because I think this tension between these two levels, it is very heavy at all the phases of the process. And now, when formality is arriving, we see how formality doesn't cope with informality and the way people inhabit and dwell the space. And how, as architects, how can we kind of mediate this tension, and also somehow also our frustration when these kind of things start to happen?
No, it's very complex. It is more complex than what I said before. If you want, I start from the end. Yeah. Today, we are not involved in the process. Okay. So, just to clarify, because many things happen, I try to say that we won the 11, then they become 13 millions of euro. And to do that, we worked always with a group inside the occupation. There are 54 families coming from different, for 13 different states. But they are inside a larger movement called Coordinamento Cittadino Lotta per la Casa, si entiende? And so once we won, we understood that the power was not the people who we worked with. So we are, another scale arrived. I don't know if you understand. So the leader of the movement, sorry?
Superpower.
Yeah, the super anarchic power. This is what is incredible. Men's. Okay, white men. Okay, I don't want to go there. Representing the migration. Okay.
Representing.
Sì. So they In the first assembly where we went to explain what we want to do, so to have a laboratory inside, to have a space where we could continue the project, because we did the project inside. We really designed the project in the tea room in the ground floor, and where all the families came to see if they were agree or not what we were doing. And they say that no, we have to stop to talk with the people, because we have to pass through the assembly, and we were not allowed to be such a free inside, and there were hierarchy, the anarchists, and so we say no, we don't. At this condition, we will not continue. And what is happening? It is also that the municipality was happy in a way that we were not inside, because they understood that we could be a problem also, and a complexity. And so now what is going, there are other architects that are doing the project, and they talk in small rooms with the door closed. Nobody knows what is going on, what is arriving, where the people will go, because they will not do our project of turnation, I don't know say. And so, but I think what is really sad, I mean, is not that they don't recognize our work and our position after more than 10 years that we work with them. And they said we are the controparte, so like the enemies, the part where they are fighting with. And but what is said, it is that neither the municipality and the others, they don't recognize that this is knowledge, this is culture, this is this is something that we can learn, everybody, and the society can profit of this project. But they are completely hidden in their rooms, thinking that their enemy for the municipality, the electors, so because if they know that they are dealing with the squatting movement, maybe they will not vote for them after. So it's better that the newspaper don't talk about that, and everything it is in silence. And also the squatting movement is afraid with their interior enemy, because to do that with the institution is not so good. We have to fight because of we have to be strong. So it is really stupid. What is that? Because they are doing that, and nobody can talk about that. And nobody can touch, follow. We want to do a movie of all the process, and so I don't.
Thank you. I think we understood.
Yeah. So the position is always, it's not with the police only, but
Yes.
it is really complex.
Yes, as usual. I think it's the perfect moment to open the session to questions. To the audience. Also the young people.
Francesco, thank you very much. It was very nice to listen to you travel across the concept of hospitality, and the gift by Marcel Mauss there, the system of reciprocity. I was wondering to learn more about this project you have, Circo. It appears in 2021. How was it? It was before the pandemic, it was during the pandemic. When this idea emerged? Because I think it's very interesting to know this as well, to how you connect with those people that are very vulnerable during that particular period of time, and then you create this nice project.
No, disappear slowly. With Stalker, we squatted in '99 a building with the Kurdish community. And this building is today a Kurdish, the only refugee center completely self-managed by the people. They don't ask money to the institution. They are in the center of Rome, more in the center than Porto Fluviale. And, and we started working on that. The name was not Circus, but the idea was to try to, this is in the book, when we decided to stop as a stalker, after many years of walking, we found that this was an interesting place to stop, parar, and to see the transformation. There were the gypsy community, Gitanos, and there were people from Senegal, from Kurdistan, Moldavia. This was also a super interesting place. When we started to understand that was very important to mix the culture and to try to live together. So this idea came, it was in our mind. Then the idea to do Circo arrived in 2016 after Syria, when the millions of people were knocking at the door of Europe, and we said we have to do something. And we also, it was many years that we were looking and working also with metropolis in the occupation system, and we learned a lot. So we think that their strategy of using the abandoned building to inhabit with the people who need the house was a policy, an urban policy that was interesting. Why the institution don't do that? Why they leave abandoned the space? And if there are people who need space and we have space that need people, why don't put together? It is really easy, no, to imagine that without soil consumption. And so, but yes, the moment was after Syria. In 2017, we did the map, the mapping, and then we are there. No, but the COVID was not, I don't, many times they ask about COVID, if COVID influenced in a way, not so much. To me, no. For example, my course, I've stopped my course online just for 1 month, from March to April, and then in May we illegally walked. No, because it was not possible to do the theory of walking in a screen, suicide, you know. And so we walked neglected. Nobody saw us because we were in the wilderness. We slept in June. We slept in tents in the beach of Rome, and nobody. So I really, it was like if the COVID doesn't exist to me.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm a Syrian architect, and I'm doing my PhD thesis about the Syrian student migration to Portugal, focusing on different themes, touching very sensitive subjects. And when you were speaking about right now about your work with the mapping, with the Syrian migration, I'm very curious to know more about it, and how can I be able to be in touch with you regarding this?
We didn't draw the map of Syrian migration. we did the map of the abandoned building and how the migrants are the system of institutional welcoming, not only for Syrian, but for everybody. In Italy, we have not so much people from Syria. They are more in the North Europe, you know. The wave, they arrive now, it's more from Afghanistan and, of course, the people that are in the prisons of Libya. But we can stay in contact. My email is careri.francesco@gmail.com. Easy. But we can talk about that after. I'm interested more in your work. I don't work really in that. But
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Si sente? Thank you for a presentation. I'm very curious about the project Protofluviale that is in Rome. I'm also actually doing the PhD in Rome at this moment, but I'm Polish, so a bit also the feeling of being a foreigner in Rome is very close to me. But I wonder who is living right now in Protofluviale? Who is living? Chi vive adesso? Chi abita lì? Chi abita? Loro?
sì, sì.
Okay, and the second question, so there are people there and you're working on a project to refurbish it for like, you said that you actually like got 13 millions of euros from municipality, universities.
From Europe.
From Europe, okay.
You.
Okay, so right now you're coordinating this project between anarchists, municipality, and free universities all together. How is this experience?
It's a big mess. Complex. Well, let's say that it started from the municipality. You know, the previous mayor was Virginia Raggi from 5 Stars, this strange movement made by a comico, an actor, okay. And so they arrived, they had no clear ideas, I think. This is also why the idea passed. No, it's true. But they were open to propositions, more than the Democratic Party of today. And so there was Luca Montuori, it is an architect, it is a professor in Roma 3, and he was the assessore all'urbanistica, the adjoint to the urbanism, and he said, okay, there is a competition of the Ministry of Transports. Let's try to, why don't we participate with 3 propositions? And he asked, and doing a big group of research, so he put, his idea was to put together the 3 universities, Roma 3, Sapienza, and Luis, that is a private one. And and he said, let's try to do 3 different possibilities. Repair, urban regeneration in a squat. So to take this illegal, because this is a problem also for the municipality, because they have always to manage these 10,000 people that once they go to demonstration to the street, they are a real power and they are strong, let's say. It's not, so why don't you try to deal with that? So let's do this experiment. He asked to us, I know you are in a good relationship with them. What do you think about? I say, I don't know. Let's go to talk with them. And they say, okay, but it has to be only public. We don't want private money, for example. This will be all social housing project. And so they put the conditions. And we were not mediating. We were supporting more and so one is the squat project, another is the school that has been demolished and now they reconstruct, so a new project. And the other, it is in Torbella Monaca, that is a big social housing project of the 70s. So it decided to do 3 experiments, and this is the strategy where we are. And then the new major arrive and say, okay, we have the money, we have to go forth, but it is not their project at all. And I don't know, this was the question? No, more or less.
I was interested about the story, so yeah, thank you so much. So it's going to be kind of like Forte Prenestino, that used to be a squat and then turned into Centro Sociale, more supported by the municipality, or no?
No.
No, different. Okay.
No. Forte Prenestino, no. This process is not yet started.
Okay.
Yeah, they talk about that, but...
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, maybe when I say squat, you imagine punk. No, you understand the normal people, workers.
Normal people wanting a place to
Yeah,
live.
families,
Kids,
kids.
grandmother,
Yeah.
Hello, thank you so much for that talk. I really appreciate it. You might be able to tell I'm from Australia. We've been doing a project in Tasmania where we have very many abandoned buildings. We don't have the same issue down there with people who have come from other places, but we have a really big crisis in housing. People cannot find somewhere to live. One of the projects that we're looking at is this idea of how do you make a home out of place, which is not your home place. And I was very interested to have a look at the interiors that you were showing of those spaces. And I'm just wondering whether or not part of the work you're looking at is how to start to think conceptually about what makes a home when you're not in your place that is your home, that you've had to leave it in some way. How do you start to work with this project in that way? Does that make sense?
Not sure to have understood the core of the question. Sorry. Come la casa, sull'abitare proprio. So me? No, sorry, I don't understand.
For that particular project, this concept of home, what does it mean when you're a refugee and you're in a place that's displaced? Does that become part of how you're thinking about how you construct these places, or how you reoccupy the squats, and how do people start to feel like they belong, or are they always feeling as though they're in transit?
Okay, it's hard. No, let's say that I think in the circus project, well, there is the reality of Porto Fluviale. They are there since 20 years, so they want to stay there. They are settled in a way. But the idea of circo, okay, it is more complex. So it's not just to give a house to the people who need a house, so like a social housing, I mean, but also to do, come si dice, transitorio, temporary houses for the people who want to pass through Italy. For example, the people that were in tents that I show, they are in Baobab experiences. They are what we call migranti in transito, okay? So they don't want to leave their fingerprint in Italy, because or else they have to stop and to come back to Italy every time to renew the documents, or they are illegal at all, or we don't recognize that there is a war in their country, so they have not the right to be refugees and asylum seekers and etc. So there are people that want to stay in Italy 3 months, 1 week, 2 days, 3 years. And I think you have to also to do a policy for those people, not only to build house for the people who want to be Romans and stay all life long there. And this is also why the idea of circus, the circus is a temporary architecture. Also, if my idea is not to do temporary house for everybody, not container, not at all in this, but to imagine that there are different fluxes of people and different ideas of home, of what is a home. Everybody has different imaginary of a home, of what home is. The people of Porto Fluviale, they know very well. They build their own home. So you can see which is their imaginary, it is physical. But there are other people that are not, simply we don't imagine that they can stay for a short time. And maybe the students also, they come from 2 years, 3 years, and then they want to go. So there are different flux of people. And I think the idea of circo, it is also an imaginary, it is the circus of Fellini, or there is this idea of the strange people all together, il nano, la donna cannone. No, you have all the differences, the extreme differences that are together in the same place and that help each other. They do an economy between them, but they present themselves like to be different, because it is like the nomadic, come si chiama la gonna, skirt, of the nomadic, the gypsy. So you have this in the town, and you understand that they are proud of their difference, to be different. They don't hide somewhere. They show themselves. We are different. We are nomad. we don't want to be homologate in your system, but you have to accept us as different. And I think really the city needs this provocation of the circus to restart an energy and to put what is not like us and what you have to, and also place where hospitality is experienced by everybody. So this is the idea.
Thank you so much, Francesco, for this very, very interesting talk. I like especially what you said about walking and your approach to walk and walking landscapes, walking architectures, walking cities. I think you know already that some of the stuff you are doing is very extremely, or should be extremely significant for many of us archaeologists who actually refer to walking as the basic experience. together with seeing, for building up a cognitive map, for building some sort of impression of the landscape. Having said that, however, I wanted to ask you something that apparently perhaps is not so much related to your talk. But when you mention the matter about Calatrava, and you put this unfinished, this in computo, it came to my mind to ask you something that I suppose you will be also perhaps even engaged with that, I don't know. I want to ask you about the in computo siciliano, because years ago I came to the knowledge of this movement, and I was really interested on how through overall modern art appropriation, experimental art, together with communities, it could be resignified and reuse these completely chaotic ruins of neoliberalism and mafia, by the way. It's not only, perhaps all things go together. But then I lost completely contact, and I haven't read anything about the in computo siciliano in the last few years. Perhaps you could tell us something about how this movement is going in order to try to recover the ruins of our own landscapes.
I don't know if everybody knows in Computo Siciliano. They are a group. They have mapped Sicily, the unfinished infrastructure more than architecture, also architecture. But what is incredible, it is the highways that ends like that. No. And yeah, this is of course for mafia, but for institution, for politics, for in general. Yeah, we are in contact, and we were in contact when we started this mapping also. This was one of our reference, of course. And I know that they won a European project to do in Computo Europeo, and they have a lot of money to do that. Okay. So, but I don't know where they are now, at which point. But I think that they will do a big book with the in Computo Europeo. Mm. No, but I want to ask to you something. No, because recently I discovered, let's say, Elisa Carignani, that is a PhD student of mine, and she working more with the animals, with this idea of architecture and animals, what the animal study does to architecture in a way. And she discovered that the first architecture of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, not only the temple, but there are in the landscape big, come si dice, recinti, enclosures made before the Neolithic age by the hunters to take the animals. And so this archetype that we always say that the enclosure is the sacred space and the temple, the temenos, and etc. Not so much. The first are placed to kill animals. And so I don't know if you know something about that. I would like to organize a trip to go there with archaeologists, and
I would love to join that trip.
You came to the perfect conference.
I am not expert in Göbekli Tepe. And by the way, I don't think that anyone is expert on Göbekli Tepe. But I can say something about that perhaps is interesting for you or for the audience. Well, the first thing about Göbekli Tepe is that it's completely exceptional, but it's not unicorn. It is exceptional because it was the very first one to be discovered. The sad news about Göbekli Tepe is that there are many archaeologists that are critical to the way as the recording of the information there has been done, because almost no one except the excavator, and this is the awful thing that could happen in archaeology, can understand properly it. What means that this data, this information cannot be replicated, cannot be revised or whatever. In any case, still, Göbekli Tepe is there. We know already that this is not an unicum. There are some other places of this kind appearing around in the area. And what is very sure is that they are very old, and so old that actually is likely that they are they were built before proper, what we call proper domestication. That means full agriculture and full husbandry. And this is extremely interesting because we think that domestication is something that comes when we domesticate animals, or we domesticate plants, and then culture start and a huge development of culture took place. But some of us have been telling for a while is more than 20 years already, that domestication, first of all, is a state of mind. It's something that people must be accustomed to think the world as something domestic before actual domestication takes place. And this is something that it happens with complex hunter-gatherer societies, because complex hunter-gatherer societies did a sort of control of the natural resources of the ecological environment that at some points they were already starting to change this landscape. For instance, nowadays it's also very clear that people, Maria perhaps could tell something about that, Maria Martin, that people start using fire long before agriculture to change the land and to avoid to allow, for instance, the reproduction of wild animals for hunting. And so already these people, they are hunter-gatherers, they have no agriculture, no husbandry, but they are already starting to change the land. And then it comes the very full sense of domestication, that is to extend the domestic, to extend the domus, to extend the house over the land, to incorporate all the land as part of your house, as part of your domus. Domestication means that. I saw in the beginning of your presentation that you are also interested to come back to the original meaning of the words. And we must remember what domestication means. That is not actually working in the land. It means to extend the house out and to make everything, to put everything under domestic relations or social relations, domestic relations of power, domestic relations of work, and so on. And this is something that comes before actual husbandry and agriculture, for sure. So, being so, it's not strange that some of these people started to build up complex architecture, complex monuments, and things like that before agriculture. And then it's not strange that in the next few years, for sure, we will find more and more data that already about 2,000 years before Christ, 12,000 years before Christ, there are traces of this sort of complex interaction with land that already involves some sort of domestication. And this is, to my knowledge, what is Göbekli Tepe all about.
Thank you so much, Luis.
Yes, I just want to add something, because I completely forgot to say something when I showed the image. I know there is a question. Yes. I know. I see. But
you can say now, and then Luis will follow. No problem.
I can?
Yes, of course.
No, because what I said when I show the line of the menhir, no, and the shepherd with the animals, and then what I understand after in the last year is I said, okay, maybe the architecture is nomad. The stones have been put there by the shepherds, but probably this happened before also. Before the stones, the hunters, they went there running, following the animals because of the shape of the territory, because this is the line of less energy you lose, because it's stupid to go to the mountain and go there. If you're escaping, it's better to escape where there is the valley. And then I thought, okay, so probably this infrastructure was signed in a way by the architecture after thousands of years of the hunters. But if you think about, okay, but maybe before, what was happening before the hunters? There were animals escaping from other animals, and they passed here also without the humans. And so this is fantastic to imagine that the infrastructuration of the world has been done by the animals, no, and not by the humans. And I think this changed a lot. I don't know. I'm trying to go there in that moment.
Thank you.
See.
We need a mic. Is it okay? Thank you.
Sorry, everybody, but I think that you will find funny too, also, this matter. I will give you one example about the importance of animals and movement, for even to understand archaeological record and to understand how, as you are telling, to understand the construction of landscape. Many years ago, when I came interested to see the movements, the pattern of movements through a territory, and to put this in relation to archaeological monuments, to archaeological sites, what I did to discover the patterns of movements was to follow wild animals. This was quite before GIS. At that point, there was not yet GIS systems, and you cannot apply any sort of GIS technology to try
what
to
is GIS?
geographic information systems.
Ah, okay.
GIS. In Italian or Spanish must be GIS. GIS. So you cannot use GIS at that point to try to discover what are the best routes to move through the country. So we use a trick that was following wild animals. The other thing you can do is to have a look on historical maps. But both things together, historical maps, well, also doing ethnographical work, asking to the people, to the neighbors, to the community, but overall, following wild animals was the real way to realize how the land worked in terms of patterns of movements. Then GIS came, and it happens what used to happen many times, that now we have extremely powerful capacities with technology, but at the same time we are losing some much more basic things as walking, seeing, experience the land by ourselves, or being totally wet in the middle of a city when you are walking it for 5 days.
Thank you.
Professor Careri, well, Sedalia asked the participation of the young, so here I go. I would like to, before I do my question, I'd like just to relate one experience that I had in Rome this last September. I visited Rome. I was heading to Assisi for the festivities of St. Francis, but I tried to sleep one night in Rome. It was simply impossible. I couldn't find a hotel or an Airbnb or anywhere to sleep. They are either sold out or out of reach, how expensive they are. So this is the question, because one trend that you see nowadays, that some cities, especially cities, big cities that are destinations of mass tourism, the hospitality has become a commodity. And I wonder if you reflect on your book how this change, this idea of that you had before of a duty to receive, now it's just a real exchange of money. And there are so many tourists, of course. From one hand, the problems are the tourists themselves, of course, because there is no diversification of destinations. So the tourists become a commodity. It's like cows, you know. And from the other side, anyone can be in the market. Anyone can. It's not only hotels. So you can open up your apartment, put it in an Airbnb, and you are hosting in exchange of money, but without the ancient idea of hospitality. This is quite lost. So I wonder if you have thought about this new hospitality as a commodity in your book.
No. In the sense, this is not hospitality. It is conditioned by money.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
In Derrida, unconditioned hospitality doesn't exist. And no, it is, no, come si dice? Il turismo è il male del secolo, no? Come si tourism. You understand the sick, sickness of, and for example, Rome during the COVID, we understood that the center of Rome was completely empty. Not only the hotels, but all the buildings now are transformed in B&B. So I don't know. There was nobody in the center of Rome. It is an open-air museum and bed and breakfast and a big restaurant. And what is horrible after the COVID, it is that the restaurant they have opened in the parking in front of the restaurant. They've put table, chairs, and so now it is an open air restaurant everywhere, and you can't sit without paying. And so it is really just a consumption place for rich people. And if you just want to sit to eat a sandwich somewhere, the police arrive and keep you out. So no, but I'm not writing about that in the book of hospitality. But you, next time you knock at my door.
It's going to be great. I always love to be home, at least for the cannolis and pistachios ice creams.
A last question? No?
Can I just make one?
Of course.
Yes. Thank you, Careri. You're a great storyteller. But I'm very frightened of the stories that we are perpetuating. So our stories tend to be about brothers killing brothers, you know, and people holding weapons and being very aggressive with each other. Because what I find interesting about walking, I don't bring a gun to the walk. I bring a bag. I can put stuff in the bag. I put the water in the bag. I put things that we grab in the bag. So I rather take the carrier of something or be the carrier of something that, you know, being the brother or the sister that kills the other person. So I think we need to build new narratives, new stories to build our mythology, maybe without killing everyone else. Just a comment.
I'm thinking to rewrite the first page of the Bible.
I think this is a very good way to finish.